All right. So, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining this info session today. And I hope that it starts to share the screen. Okay, perfect. All right, my name is Ashley. I'm the recruitment and admissions lead here at Code the Dream. If you've already applied, I've been the one communicating with you all. So, hello, you get a face to a name. Otherwise, if you're new and just wanting to learn more about Code the Dream, definitely welcome. I'm going to talk more about the mission today as well as our course offerings. We have someone here as a Code the Dream alumni who will tell more about their experience in our program. So, and at the end, we'll have a Q&A. If you have any questions as I go throughout the presentation, feel free to put them in a chat. I will answer all questions towards the end. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you again for joining. Now, our mission here. First, we're here to create opportunities that change lives. We've been around for about 11 years now, and we originally started to help those who may have been immigrants who didn't have access to in-state tuition in North Carolina, and this was made as an opportunity to give free coding school in order to get into the tech field. And nowadays, we're open to everyone who has a barrier of entry into the tech field. We offer free coding classes, both in software development and data engineering. And the main goal is to help you all to break into tech with our flexible program, as well as being free and remote. Next, we build technology that benefits our communities. So a part of our program, we have a development workshop who actually work with clients such as businesses and other nonprofits to build different kinds of technology for different populations, just to make the world better, to make the community better. We have projects that help people to know what benefits they qualify for, from government benefits, stuff for farm workers, etc. And lastly, we look to expand access to skills we need for a more innovative world. So the tech field, we want to help to have people from different backgrounds all get into the tech field so that we can have equal representation from everyone to build different technology that benefits us all. All right, so just a bit more about Code the Dreams programs. So today you'll be learning a lot more about the CTD Learns, which is our actual coding school. So we do offer free classes in web development and data engineering. As I mentioned, it's 100% remote and it's also asynchronous. So what that means is we try to cater to the adult learner. And we know a lot of people may have like multiple jobs or maybe full-time students or just may not be able to dedicate like full-time to classes. So that's what our program is for. At the beginning of each week, you'll receive pre-recorded instructional videos that you will be able to watch in your own time when you are free. And then throughout the week, we have live mentor sessions, which are group mentor sessions and one-on-one sessions. And it'll just help you to better be able to process what you learned and also further the learning too. So that's kind of how our class structure works. I know a lot of people have questions about that. Next, we have CTD Labs. So that's our actual development workshop. And for you all, if you plan to come in as students, this is an opportunity that helps you to gain real world experience. So you'll basically be hired on as an apprentice for that development workshop. You'll work on the same projects that our normal developers work on. You'll have mentorship. You'll also have access to some career development just to make sure that you are able to get a job after the apprenticeship. And it is salaried and it's remote too. Now it is a competitive position, so not everybody's guaranteed a spot, but it's something cool that we offer just to get you ready to go into that job in tech. And yeah, so you do have to complete all of our program, either all the way through the web development section or the data engineering section to qualify. Cool. So this is just more information about how you can complete our program in a year or less. So this is how we organize the program. Starting from the application, so just a few eligibility things. You do have to be 18 years or older when classes start. And you also have to reside in the United States as classes go on too, and then have access to a computer and Wi-Fi. Otherwise, most of you have already applied, but if you haven't, that's the link right there, and I'll state it again at the end. Now, after you apply, that is not the end of the application process. The next step, which is number 2, is the pre-work. So you do have to complete a required pre-work assignment. It's for us to see that you have the skills to be successful in our classes, because our classes are intensive. They're free, but they're also college level. So we see a lot of people may have some struggles with our classes, and the pre-work is basically a way for us to see your skills and also for you to see if you're able to learn in an online environment. And I can explain more as we go through the presentation. So after the pre-work is completed and submitted, and let's say you receive a passing score, your next step will be you'll move into our classes. And the good part is once you've been accepted into our classes, you don't have to reapply for any other class. So we offer our Intro to Programming class if you are completely new to coding. If you aren't as new, we do offer advanced classes such as React, which is front-end development. We have Node, which is back-end. Now, React is a prerequisite to taking the Node class, and I'll talk more about that as we keep going. But we also offer a Python Essentials class, and then a Python 200, aka Python AI and Cloud Computing class. Next, we have practicum. So after you've gone through either one of our career tracks, you will then have practicum, which is a small group work assignment. For the web development track is where you build and deploy your own app. For the data engineering track is where you work with a data set. So this is 11 weeks, and all of our classes are 11 weeks. The practicum is the same. It's 11 weeks. At the end, we have 2 weeks of career development. So it's like mock interviews, working on your resume, working on your LinkedIn, just to make sure you are career ready and ready to go ahead and start applying for jobs. Because the practicum is our last step of the program. Like I said, the apprenticeship is not guaranteed to everyone, but everyone will receive a practicum. It's just good to have on your resume when you are working with an employer and interviewing, and they want to see that you have that background experience on your portfolio. So I already explained a bit more about the apprenticeship. For now, it is only offered for the web development track, which I'll talk about more in the next slide, and we're working on it for the data engineering track. After the apprenticeship, go ahead and start your career. Right now, our apprentices are averaging about $85,000 a year once they graduate from our program. Cool. So now we have the web development track. So this is our first career pathway. The next one is data engineering, but this track is for those who want to go ahead and build different web applications. If you are interested in going into the field of development, such as front end, back end, full stack, web application developer, etc., this will be the pathway for you. So if you are new, you will start with the Intro to Programming class. If you are more advanced, you will start with the React class. And then the basic way that it goes is Intro to Programming, React, Node, the practicum, and the apprenticeship. So if you are interested in web development, you may want to take a picture of the slide. This will show how you will progress through our program as far as classes. Some people want to know why we start with React and then go to Node. We find that people have more success learning React first, as it's a bit more visual, and then we go to Node. So that's just a brief explanation about that. And now we go on to the career pathway number 2, which is data engineering. So this is for those who are more interested in working with data and working with numbers. If you want to go and be like a data analyst, even a Python developer, a business analyst, data engineer, etc., this will be the pathway for you. I forgot to say in the last slide, we do teach full stack JavaScript for the web development. And for data engineering, we teach Python. So the pathway for Python will be Intro to Programming. If you're more advanced and do have some programming knowledge, Python Essentials may be your first class, but the whole track is Intro to Programming, Python Essentials, Python AI and Cloud Computing, and then the practicum. So like I said, we currently don't have the apprenticeship available for data engineering right now because it is a bit newer, but the advantage is we do see a lot of jobs, open jobs for like data engineers and people who may know Python and all. So that's kind of the trade-off as of right now. All right, so let's talk a bit more about the class schedule. So we're going to talk about spring 2026 mainly in this presentation. That's our upcoming application period that we're in right now. So let's see. Okay, so for spring, we are offering Intro to Programming, React, and Python Essentials. The start date for all three of those classes will be April 1st, and the end date is June 17th. All right, so Intro to Programming, you'll learn just web development basics like the basics of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, GitHub, etc. And then React, like I said, we'll focus on front end development. And Python Essentials, you'll focus on data analysis, visualization, data cleaning, etc. Now, as you may remember from the beginning, there's two classes that may be missing from this, which is Node and Python AI and Cloud Computing. That's because you can't jump right into those classes being new to our program. That'll be like your second classes or your third classes in the program. All right, so just to give you guys more of a visualization for like planning your academics here, the summer 2026 classes will go from July 1st to September 19th. So let's say if you took Intro to Programming, this will be your React class or your Python Essentials class. If you came in one of the advanced classes already, this will be your Node or your AI and Cloud Computing with Python class. And then we have the fall 2026 class dates of September 30th to December 15th. For you all that may be jumping into advanced this period for spring 2026, this will be when you do practicum. All right. So just some additional information. We do require a commitment to working through challenges as you go through our program. Since it is a remote program, it may be harder for some people just because you aren't in person, but basically, if you're watching videos and you need more help and more assistance, you can always reach out to a one-on-one mentor, or you can definitely attend our group mentoring sessions, and they will help you to working through those challenges. Next, our classes require about 20 hours per week for you to work on things, and that's in total. That's including like the mentor sessions, which is like one required per week, and then the classwork itself. It may take some people longer, some people less time. It just depends on your working style. One thing I will say, let me mention too, you can't take more than one class within a term, so that's one thing. And then also, our classes are flexible to where if you fall behind, let's say 1 week, our mentors can help you to catch up. Or if you know that you'll be busy the next week of classes, you can work ahead. So we are a bit flexible in that sense. And then, as I mentioned before, our classes are 11 weeks long too. So some general requirements. First, for our Intro to Programming class, luckily, well, I'll say this. You do have to have digital literacy, okay? Definitely know how to work your system, how to work your laptop and computer, as we don't teach that. We just teach the coding portion. Otherwise, we aren't looking for you to have any previous experience or knowledge. It is helpful to have some previous, like, let's say if you looked at a coding video on YouTube or just did like a quick like project on Odin, what is it? It's Odin something. But if you're just working on those different platforms, it's good to have that basic knowledge as it'll help you to jump into our program. But overall, we aren't looking for you to have basic experience before, but it's helpful. Now, for the advanced classes, we do want you to have some experience with JavaScript and GitHub and APIs. And how we test that is through our pre-work assignment. So, yeah, if you look at the advanced pre-work assignment, you'll basically know what we're looking for as far as the previous knowledge requirements. All right, so for class requirements, let me see. Oof, sorry. Okay, basic class requirements for our intro class. We aren't looking for you to buy a new system at all. So if you have a Chromebook or a hybrid tablet, that will work fine. You will have to do some workarounds, but luckily our mentors will help with that. So you don't need, I guess, like a new computer. But you do need reliable internet, and that goes for intro class as well as our advanced classes. The only difference is with the advanced classes, you are required to have some kind of computer or system, just because a Chromebook or any other hybrid tablet won't work for advanced classes. Definitely have at least like 8 gigabytes of memory on your system for downloading things, but otherwise that's all the class tools you will need. Now, the pre-work assignment. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I gotta get my charger. But basically, with the pre-work assignment, is a required part of your application. For the intro assignment, you will need to be, well, you don't have to use Khan Academy, but basically we want to see that you're able to watch coding videos and produce a coding sample from it. So the Khan Academy is completely free. It is a website that you will go to and you will work through Unit 1, which is drawing in JavaScript animation. And then after watching those videos, you will go on p5.js and you will produce a coding sample with the requirements we ask of you in your pre-work instructions. So some of the requirements are like having a loop, having a variable, having a conditional, and then a unique function. If you are able to do that without the Khan Academy, feel free to skip it, but that's basically what we'll be looking for. Now, with the advanced pre-work assignment, as I mentioned beforehand, we are looking for you to know how to work with GitHub and APIs already. You will have to build a static website, and this it does need to include navigation. And then you'll also need to show that you're able to work with some styling features and pull data from an open source API to display on a front end website. Ooh, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to plug my stuff up. All right. So some people want to know, like, if they are in between, let's say an intro level and maybe a more advanced level, and if they should, like, which one they should apply for. Basically, if you feel like you do have some knowledge with GitHub and APIs, you can definitely try with the advanced pre-work. There is no downfall to trying with the advanced pre-work first, because if you aren't able to work with it, we can go ahead and switch you to the intro assignment and you'll be good to go. Or if you do make it through the advanced pre-work assignment and let's say you aren't meeting all the requirements, if you demonstrate a good enough knowledge of what you're working with, like basic coding knowledge, you'll still be able to join our intro to programming class. So if you are in between, I would honestly recommend you start with the advanced pre-work just to see if it'll work for you. Ooh, y'all, I just did like a whole scavenger hunt around my room and kept talking. Yay. Okay. All right. So some people ask too if you can use bootstrapping for the advanced pre-work assignment. And you can, but just make sure you are showing some manual styling so we know that you can do that. And as you work through the pre-work assignment, if you have any questions, definitely email me at admissions@codethedream.org. I'm happy to help. We also do have pre-work support sessions. We have like two sessions every application period. Our next one is, I think, next week or the week after. So we do try to help you with that as well too, but always email me with questions and I'm happy to help. So for class information, after you all are admitted, because I'm sure all of you will be, because y'all will submit very good assignments, our orientation is 2 weeks prior to the class start date. So look for the week of March 16th to be when that orientation is. You'll get a full rundown of everything you'll need to know for classes. And then a week before classes start, we have office hours. And basically, if you have any questions that you need answering before classes start, we can help you with that. And overall, we want to make sure you all are prepared to start classes and don't have any questions and are just ready to get the work. So next, during classes, we work through lessons and assignments weekly. As I mentioned before, we do have those live mentor sessions. We also do have a sort of like a group chat, I'll call it, with everyone in your classes and an all students class thing group chat as well too. So on top of the mentor support, you will have those group chats to answer and ask any questions. Also, we do have like we call them SILs, but they're class instructional leaders, and they'll work with you to make sure that you're on time, on schedule for completing classes, and just to help. So we do have those different supports in place. So for frequently asked questions, a lot of people want to know how many people are admitted into our program. And honestly, for every term, it does depend. Our recommendation really is just to make sure you all submit an admissible pre-work assignment. So meeting all the requirements as listed on your instructions will be key to getting into our classes. All right, what do we look for in applicants? We look for a drive. We're looking for people who actually want a career in tech because we are a free program, but we do use a ton of resources to make sure you all have the tools you need to actually get a career. So definitely don't look for just like a hobby or a side hustle, but we want you to actually want to become a developer or a data engineer within a year or so, and then we can get you there. And lastly, what's the cost? It is completely free. We do have grants and a development workshop. Like I said, we work with real clients. So we get revenue from that and also from grants considering we're a nonprofit. So it is completely free for you all. Once you graduate, if you do want to donate back time as a mentor, is very appreciated. And then if you do want to donate back like monetary funds, you can, but it's definitely not required. But that's kind of how that works. So next steps. This is optional, but you can add admissions at codethedream.org to your contacts list. It basically just ensures we don't go to your junk or spam folders because we do send important information. And another thing, if you haven't applied yet, apply with a working email that you're able to receive emails from, and that's not full of spam, just because we do have some people where we're not able to properly contact them due to the email not working. So have a good working email, and if you haven't already, you can apply today at codethedream.org/apply. Now, our application deadline is this Sunday. So if you haven't applied, you can apply before that date or on that date. If you do want to look at more resources online, you can go to codethedream.org. We have a class descriptions page that'll give you all the information about all of our classes, including week by week curriculum. Yeah. And then we just have more information about our classes and what we offer too. So you can feel free to look at those resources after this call. And our pre-work deadline is February 15th. Now the pre-work can take like 10 hours, 8 hours. It depends on like how much you know already, but definitely make sure that you are making time for that. Don't just do it the day before. I procrastinate too, y'all. I'm not judging, but I'm letting you know. Do it way before. Also the week of the deadline, I do get a lot of emails and everything with questions. So if you want to make sure your stuff is answered pretty fast, please start working on it before February 15th. And then you will receive your results on February 24th. And that's when you'll know if you've been admitted or not to our spring 2026 classes. All right, that was all of the information. Now, we're going to ask just a few of our Code the Dream alumni, a few questions. And yeah, so I'm going to introduce them right now. So first we have Oksana, and then we have Sonali. If you both want to just say your name, how long you've been with Code the Dream, and then what project you're working on. And we can start with Oksana.
Hello, I'm Oksana and I'm with Code to Dreams. Oh, I started somewhere in February 2022, I guess. That was so long ago. But I've been in your shoes, and even if I graduated from our community college, and I had some gap, and I decided to start over, and I started with my intro programming class, and then I took React class and did practicum, and then got Node class for backend, which is now like new path, and you take should take React and Node class, and then take practicum. And after this, I took Ruby on Rail class and got the practicum. And after my second practicum, I've been um, accepted to Code the Dream apprentices. And I'm working now on a VAMAS project, which is one of the biggest in Code the Dream. So proud of this. And our purpose and help, we are helping the people who is coming here to US for seasonal farmers workers. So that's huge, very interesting project, and so happy to be here. And like outside of the job, like in the evening, now I'm taking Python class. So here's my path.
Yeah, I will go next. Thank you, Ashley, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with Code the Dream. So, hello everyone. My name is Sonali, and I am with Code the Dream almost more than 2 years. 1 year I took training in Intro to Programming, React, and Node.js, and then I did practicum project, and I got selected as an apprentice developer. So, I'm currently working as an apprentice developer with Code the Dream, and I had few Python knowledge, so I am working on Python projects in Python for backend and React for in front end. So I'm enjoying my work. I like my work, and it's the job is very flexible, fully remote, which is great, and um, all the all team members, our team lead, manager, everyone is so helpful. So I'm very grateful that I got this opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you both so much. And we're going to ask one more question before we get into other questions because I see there's a lot in the chat. I want to make sure that we can get to all of them within the time period. So, just a last question. What advice would you give to future Code the Dream participants? And we can start with
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite. Um, First of all, I would say never give up. Sometimes you can feel so down, and actually that happens to me. Sometimes even now when I'm already working for 1 year for Got the Dream, but take yourself like allow yourself like to lay down one day if you feel so down, but because new day will bring you new adventures and new um, strength to continue this, and never compare yourself with others because everyone has different path way experience, and it doesn't mean you're better or not good enough as other people because everyone has own strength. And as a team, for example, in our team, like we have so many different developers and all together, and some of them have strengths in one field, another one in another field, but all together we are puzzle of the entire uh, team. Yeah.
Yeah, my advice same like Aksana, never give up. If you really, really like coding and the tech industry, if you really wanted to be a developer or build a software, then I think you don't need any advice. You will find your way, and just keep on trying. Don't give up. Don't look at the market. How like is there a job or don't? Just keep increase your skills, work on that, build your own projects, and finish this Code the Dream courses very sincerely, and then no one will stop you. You will get your um, goal. Yeah. So.
Thank you both so much for that advice. Like I said, I'm going to start answering some questions in the chat. Now, if you have questions, definitely continue to add them. I'm here to answer them as well as Oksana and Sonali and Catherine if you want to too. But thank you all for the questions in the chat. So, first, let me start with the right one. Okay, I see. Can you explain for total beginners what front end development is and back end development? Okay, yeah. Oksana or Sonali, do you want to give a difference between front end development and back end development?
Can I? Yeah, front end, and and you already know this, like front end, that's what you see as a user. Like you see where the buttons are, what the colors, what the mm, styles of the letters are, and that's UI, what the users are seeing. And back end, it's mostly like other part, like the clocks. It's mechanism which is working on the backside. Like, for example, when you log in, you, as a user for front end, you just enter your email and password and click the button, but the work is going on the backside, like when all notifications started and how it flows, where it keeps, like database where all information keeps. So that's the biggest difference. And actually, for me, because I'm full stack and I'm working on back end and front end, and when I took classes for React, uh, I was so excited to see because I'm a visual person, and that's for me. It's very important to see what's going on the screen. But when I started Node class and started my practicum, the puzzle was solved and mystery, and I started to understand, okay, here I just click the button, but the entire work is happening on the other side. And for me that was so easier to work on the back end after this. Also, the entire life I thought I am visual person and I'm more front end person. So
And that was a great explanation, Oksana. Thank you so much for that. I think it even helped me to learn a little bit more. And within our program, the web development side, as she mentioned, you will learn both full. You will learn full stack, so front end and back end development. All
Yeah,
right.
I will add a little bit in that. Like front end, it's like suppose you are building the website, static website, so there is no connection between the database and the anything backend. So that will be like a static website. It will build in the JavaScript, React, HTML, CSS, and you are going to do it like dynamic website. So that is connected with the backend, means we are going to call the APIs. So all the APIs execution is happening at the backend, which is connected with the database, and it's depend upon which database are there. So that is the backend programming language, are like Python, Node.js, Java, and the front end we have different languages. So it's completely different. Front end, if we our the website is dynamic, then we are calling the APIs which is connected to the backend, and we will get the data from backend. So these are the two differences. Yeah. And mostly people needs to have both knowledge, like a full stack web development, but in few cases you might get like front end developer or the back end developer. It depends upon your skills. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that added explanation as well, too, Sonali. And I see the next question is, can we apply for both web development and data engineering? Good question. You are only able to apply for one. So you have to be 18. Yeah, so 17 is too young, unfortunately. All right. Will the recording be made available for attendees? Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I do talk a little fast. So the recording will be available for attendees. And I will send it to like the applicant. So if you haven't applied yet, definitely apply. The Odin Project. Thank you for correcting me. Let's see. I have registered and submitted pre-work. Since I have not heard anything after, then how can I check my registration status? Okay, so you will hear back on February 24th, which is when we are emailing everybody back for their results. Right. Has a nice little introduction to show you. I think you may have been talking about Odin, maybe. All right, next question. If I do intro to programming April to June, React June to September, Node September to December, then practicum is next year. Yes, so then practicum would be next year. I thought it was mentioned that it could be completed in 2026. So let's see. Okay, basically how it is our program is usually the 4 quarters. So that would have put you at the end of 2026. However, for this year, we had to cut out quarter 1 because this is a new schedule. So that's why it's going into 2026. And if you look at the dates itself, it is still a year-long program because you're starting in April and you will end, I believe, before April next year. So that's kind of how it works. Hello, where can I find more information on pre-work? I started earlier. Okay, I've applied earlier but did not turn in pre-work on time. Do I have to reapply? Okay, I think you're saying you applied for an earlier term and you didn't turn in pre-work. Do I have to reapply again? Yeah, reapply again for the spring 2026 term, and then you could find more information on your pre-work instructions. So yeah, apply again, and then your pre-work instructions will be emailed to you automatically after that. All right, what is the deadline for pre-work? Can I prep for the advanced classes prior to the deadline? And can I be guided to where I can use tutorial for the advanced classes? Okay, deadline for pre-work is February 15th. Can I prep for advanced class? Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I understand. You can prep for classes prior to the deadline. Can I be guided to where I can use a tutorial for advanced classes? I would say look for any tutorials revolving around GitHub and APIs. That's the best that I can give you for right now. All right. Can you all either email us or put in the chat the application? So the application is in the chat. Thank you, Catherine, for putting that in there. And I can put it again towards the end. Hello, I coded for nearly 10 years before. I haven't done any programming in several years. I've written in JavaScript. Would you recommend I start with intro or advanced classes? Honestly, I would recommend anything programs over years. I would recommend starting with the intro class, but what I would recommend to you is looking at the intro pre-work and seeing if it's super easy for you. If it's super easy, let me know and I can switch you to the advanced classes and give you the advanced pre-work. I would say start off like that since it has been several years. The intro class is a good foundational class, so that's why some people who may have had like a lot of experience in the past still start with intro just to get that refresher. Okay. It says a ton of Ashleys with your first and last name. I know, y'all. I got a common name. All right. Good afternoon. I would like information about your mentorship program, Becoming a Mentor. Thank you, Catherine, for putting that in there. Okay. Courses are not live. So, the class instructional videos are not live. The live part, it would be for the mentors. So the mentors, they have different Q&A sessions. They may have their own PowerPoints to show to you. So it's basically an added support on top of the courses you will watch pre-recorded. All right, question. What if a person does not pass? Okay, so you won't necessarily receive feedback on what you got wrong. Basically, and we can work on that too, but if you do submit a non-passing pre-work assignment, yeah, we don't give you specifically what you did wrong. We'll just tell you that you'll just have to apply again. So usually, like for the early pre-work submissions, we had an early deadline for this trimester. We gave feedback for them, and it was more of like an added benefit for submitting early. But at the end, for the standard results date, you don't receive specific feedback. So, what about database and storing data information? I am not sure what you mean by that question. I don't know if you're talking about the data engineering path. Um, so yeah, you could just reinstate your question, Elmira. Yes. If we attempt the advanced pre-work, can we switch to the intro pre-work after the application deadline if we struggle with it? Um, so you will be after the oh, you said application deadline. Yeah, after application deadline you can switch. If it's after the pre-work deadline, you'll be admitted into, or whatever, you'll be given the track that you applied for, and then afterwards we can go back and see if we can switch you. Okay, I had applied earlier but did not turn in pre-work in time. Do I have to reapply again? I think I answered your question earlier. Let me see. Do I have to reapply? Yeah. Turn in your pre-work again and resubmit your application. After we finish intro to programming, do I need to apply for the advanced class? You will not need to apply for the advanced class after you already finish intro. This pre-work and all is just your first step into our program. Once you're in, you don't have to apply for another class after that, which is pretty cool. You'll just have to make sure you finish the class that you started with. Right, thank you. Is there an estimated time frame in which the apprenticeship will open for data engineering? All right, and thank you, Catherine, for that answer. Basically, she said this is not an apprenticeship secured. There is not an apprenticeship secured at this time for data engineering, but you will have a skills portfolio that employers are looking for. So the main goal of our program is to make sure you all are ready to get into the job market and be a competitive candidate. What we have currently for the data engineering path, it does ensure that, and we are currently working to get an apprenticeship in place just for the extra security too. All right, if we finish advanced in spring, still we have to wait for a year in for practicum. If you, okay, so the way our advanced classes work, you are applying for our first advanced class for the spring. Then you will go into the second advanced class for the summer, and then for the fall, that will be practicum. Yeah. So you'll still be in classes throughout that time, and then the fall classes will be practicum. Is the deadline still the same if you are interested in a later session? No. So if you're interested in a later session, you can. Currently, we don't have applications open for fall 2026. So if you want to, you can apply for summer now. But if you are applying for summer, that deadline is completely different. So you do have more time to submit your pre-work, and I believe that deadline is listed on our website. And I can put the link that you'll go to see that. And thank y'all for y'all questions too. Usually we don't have like a ton of questions, so thank you so much. Okay. Okay, I'm almost at the end. Yay. All right. Hold on. Where did I just leave off? Okay. Hi, thank you for the session. For data engineering and Python, the advanced pre-work is JavaScript. Is that correct? Yes, so we do get questions on that. The advanced pre-work is JavaScript for the data engineering track, just because having some foundational knowledge in programming is required to join our Python track for now. Right. And if you do want to change your classes to, let's say, intro to programming or whatnot, let me know. For everybody on this call, actually, if you do want to change your course selection, let me know and I can change it on the back end. And you can email me at admissions@codethedream.org, and I'll put that in the chat right now. Okay. Okay. Which SQL provider will we utilize? Oksana, Sonali, do you, either one of you know that?
Will you repeat, please?
Yes. Which SQL provider will we utilize?
In my team, we use Postgres, But during practicum, we use MongoDB, for example, but it's during the practicum, it's your choice what to use. It's
Yeah.
completely.
We use Postgres in our benefit calculator project, but during practicum we did MongoDB. Yeah. And, I did Firebase also. Yeah, one time MongoDB and one time Firebase.
All right, and thank y'all for answering that because Ashley wouldn't know. So thank you, Oksana and Sonali. And then I see a follow up question. It says non relational or relational.
Yeah, it's depend upon project. Like some project needs relational, some non-relational. So it's really depend upon project. And it's your choice also. If you're doing practicum project, and you can get to choose which kind of database you are going to use. Even you can. Sometimes people can use different languages also. It's really it's up to you on what kind of project you are going to choose and select. So for practicum project, and for training, during training time, whatever you have assignments, if we are using Mongo, so for example for Node.js course we did use MongoDB, so you have to use a MongoDB. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And then Oksana Sonali, let me know if you know this answer. But it says, do you think the advanced pre-work can be completed if my programming background is in backend, like Java, C++, Python, and not JavaScript?
I think you can because usually, like, if when I was working on the back end, usually I'm looking what's going on the front end, and like if you saw and know the basic stuff, it's not complicated. Like for advanced class, they Code the Dream ask you to be familiar with CSS, HTML and JavaScript and APIs because at the end of intro class you will have two projects to show, like final project. One project is your portfolio where you build several pages, your portfolio, like with the link to GitHub, and show your proficiency with CSS, for example. And for the second project, it's API project. And if you know how to make the calls of APIs, so I think you can get it. But people are different, and sometimes it's hard to tell. But there is a lot of hmm, examples on YouTube, and it depends how quickly you can learn and apply, for example. But usually, if people know one language, it's easier for them to get another one. Like I'm taking Python class, and for me, it's easier because I already know SQL and how the tables working, how they communicated, and all this kind of stuff.
Thank you for that, Oksana. Okay, so next are the mentor sessions in groups or only one on one, and how large are class sizes? So, mentor sessions are in both formats, so it depends on which one you choose, or you can choose both of them. Basically, throughout the week, we have mentor sessions basically every day. A lot of them are in the evening times. But also, if you aren't able to make a mentor session, we do have one on one sessions scattered all throughout the day, every day. Our volunteers are actual tech professionals and they volunteer their time with us, so it depends on their schedule. If they're free at 1 p.m., 12 p.m., 10 a.m., like anything like that, you can schedule a session with them, if that's the time that you're available to. So we do have group and one-on-one offered at the same time. And how large are class sizes? I don't know if you're talking about the mentor sessions, but as far as actual classes, it really does depend per term. Oksana or Sonali, do y'all remember like about how big the mentor sessions will be?
Yeah.
Really? Go ahead, Sonali.
Go ahead, Aksana, no problem.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so for us, one session, generally people used to join 20 students, and for other sessions like 10, 5, depend upon everyone's availability. Whatever the sessions are going on that day, they used to join. Like, it's really our time 40, overall all students were 40, but now I think a lot of students are joining Code Dream. So yeah, it's depend upon their availability. The session is fixed time. Mentor sessions are fixed time. Just student availability, they a few people student used to join or not, like depend upon them. Yeah, go ahead, Aksana. Sorry.
Yeah, as Sonali mentioned, it really depends on the day and time. And for example, I've been a mentor for 3 cohorts for intragroup, and my first cohort was 20 plus people attended my session, and other cohort that was just 4 person. But and additional, if you have enough people to if you have a mentor like who speak on your language, God the Dream can provide you the, like, for example, I've been a mentor for Russian speaking group, and I know we had a Spanish speaking group sessions as well. So it really depends. And if you are not comfortable or to ask questions in a group, you always can set up one-on-one session. That was so helpful for me.
Thank you so much, both of you, for answering that question. The next question that I see is, if we take, I assume you meant intro, in spring, in summer, and fall, the same class will continue, or we will be moved to advanced class? Um, okay, that question, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but what I think, so if you take the, okay, you basically won't move into the advanced class until you finish the intro class, and that's kind of like how most of our classes work. So the intro class, you will finish by turning in a final assessment, and that assessment will be graded. And from that, you will know if you're able to move on to the next class. So, whether you, let's say, take the intro in the spring and you pass, or in the summer if you pass, whichever one, then next term after you pass will be when you're able to take an advanced class. So, that's basically replacing the pre work that you may do. You will just have to turn in that final assessment. I think that may answer your question. If not, you can unmute or just put it in the chat. So, what time does the class start? It will be visit every weekday or several days in a week. Um, for classes themselves, since they are virtual and already pre-recorded, you won't have a necessary like a class start time. If you mean the date or whatnot, for spring it will be April 1st, but it will be visit every weekday or several day in the week. I'm just okay with the mentor sessions. There are several days in a week. If you want to, you can definitely unmute and clarify your question. All right, and I think I reached the end of that. If anybody has any other questions that you want to put in the chat or unmute, now is the time.
Or if some reason we missed one, yeah, let us know if I kind of looked over one. Didn't mean to, but let us know.
And again, I'll put in the chat. If anybody wants to unmute, you can feel free to cut me off. But in the chat, I'm still putting the link to apply if you haven't already, and then also my email address if you have any questions that you may not, let's say, feel comfortable sharing for the entire group. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you so much for coming. Anyone else, if you don't have any further questions, thank you all so much for attending. Yeah, and we're happy to help you all and to help you all to jumpstart your career in tech. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, everybody. I'll stay on for like another minute.
Very much, everyone.
Thank you, Joan.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
You as well. Thank you.
Hi, Ashley.
Bye. Thank you, Roy.
No, I said hi.
Oh.
I got a super quick question.
Hey.
Super quick. I think you said March is when like classes would start, right? Just assuming I were to be accepted, right?